And it happened a couple of years ago. We had a conference and we had a gentleman speaking by the name of Michael Hill. He's a funny little man. He's quite unique. He's quite dotty. He's unbelievable. Anyway, he came and spoke at our conference, and he was sitting out the back of the conference in the theatre, and I was the MC. And what happened was he looked like he died actually, because he was sort of slumped over. I thought, Jesus, this is not good. He's on in 10 minutes. So I went over and shook him, and cut a long story short, he was meditating. And we got talking about that. He says, part of what you have to do to be a good business person is you have to be able to switch on and you have to be able to switch off. And if you can't switch off, you're going to get burnt out. And he talked about it at the conference. He talked about going and doing meditation. And I thought, well, that's interesting, because some of that stuff, I'm sort of a little sort of, do I believe it? Do I not believe it? I know we had someone go and do a yoga thing last night, so she believes it. In a sweat tent or something. God. Anyway, so I decided to go and learn how to meditate. That was out of my comfort zone, because it's not my gig. And I had two choices, either to sign up to a local community event on a Friday night with all the mums and the housewives, and you sit there for 2 hours and you have a cup of tea and you sit there. I couldn't do that. So I knew that I'd only go to one and that would be it. So me being me, I signed up to a 10-day retreat. Yes. Yes. Somehow I knew you'd know all about this. I just had it in my head. Let me tell the story. Right. I knew shit about this. I didn't know anything about it. I just thought 10 days, how cool. And they had it set up that if you enjoyed it, you pay at the end. You don't pay at the beginning. I thought, well, that's a pretty good guarantee. They take on 100 people, and it was up at Kalkopakop north of Auckland. I rocked up on a Thursday in my full three-piece suit. Mistake number one. Everyone else was hugging trees, and and they had the shorts and the socks and the sandals, and it's like, oh dear. So anyway, I parked the car, and I tell you what, moving out of my comfort zone, the sweat was literally dripping off my hands. So I'm going, Shayne, just turn around and walk. But I told too many people I was doing it, so I sort of had to commit to it. You know that feeling? So I did the long walk from the car park up, and then I sat down and they check you in. Now, because I'm not big on detail, I didn't read the small print, which in hindsight I probably should have, because it was a silent retreat. You couldn't talk for 10 days. I've never done that in my life. So you imagine this, not talking for 10 days, no communication for 10 days, no eye contact, no reading, no writing, no music, no nothing, total stimulation removed from life. You were then segregated. My hand was shaking because you had to commit to it for 10 days. They segregated us immediately, women on that side, men on that side. You had your own little room. Here's how the day was structured. I'm not best at 4 o'clock in the morning. 4 o'clock in the morning, the gong goes. So, up you get. 4:30, you march up to the top of the hill in darkness, like lemurs, and you sit down on a square of carpet on a concrete floor in a hall with a rug. And it was quite surreal. No one was talking. 100 people sitting down, just looking straight ahead in a room like this, but bigger. Then the door opens from the back. Nothing happens. And the next moment you see this little knock-legged Indian guru come out with cross eyes. And me being me, I started laughing because I thought, man, it hasn't done you much good. So he gets up on his plinth. He sits there, he does some deep breathing, and he says, right, I want you to breathe in through your nose, feel the breath going in through your nose, down into your lungs, hold it, and release. That was it. That's all he said. That's all he said for the rest of the day. That was it. It's like, jeeps. Now here's the thing, it was like trying to do a marathon with no practice. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So you sit there on your square, and you sit there for 2 hours. Your mind races. You imagine doing that for 10 days, just absolute nothingness. So then what happens, you break at 6:30 for breakfast, and let me tell you, breakfast is nothing more than what I used to feed my rabbit. There was nothing that was slightly unhealthy there at all. And you sit at tables, sitting across from people, but you can't talk to them. So you start making up conversations in your head about these people and why they're here. And so you have breakfast from 6:30 to 7:30. Again, you meditate from 7:30 to 11:30. 11:30 in the morning, you have the final meal of the day. Rabbit food.
11:30.
11:30 in the morning, final meal of the day. Then you have half an hour to walk around like you've had a lobotomy. Now, if anyone has seen the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, it was like people just walking around like zombies. It was I was actually getting really scared by this stage because I thought, this is just not right. This is just not right.
How many people live?
Well, I don't know, because you don't talk to anyone. Then at 12:30 to 5:30, you sit and meditate again, and then from 6:30 to 9:30. That's a lot of sitting. Now, it was raining at that stage, so I could handle it. Day 3 comes, and the Indian guru always has something profound to start with, and he comes out again on the 3rd day and says, today, you're no longer allowed to move once you've sat in your position. Now, let me tell you how sore your bum gets sitting on a concrete floor and your back. You just want to... and itchiness, you start to itch all over. So I was fighting the itchy demons.
What about the rabbit food? That must be a big...
And the rabbit food. And that's how it continued. So day 5, I was starting to turn from relaxed into an angry young man. I was getting quite angry.
Did you last the 10 days? What were you angry about?
I'm going to tell you the story.
Okay, sorry.
Can I ask one question? Have you done it? Yeah, I knew, I just knew.
Like 5 days, I couldn't do it.
Here we go. Same with me. I only lasted 5 days. Here's what happened. Day 5, I woke up and I thought, my God, I cannot take this anymore. I will kill someone. I need to be released.
Get me out of this asylum.
So,
I'm going to kill them.
but it was starting to feel cultish at this time. You just got the feeling that it was cult, but it's not. It's Buddhist and Buddhists are pretty cool people, but it was feeling cultish. And I'm going, mate, I've got to escape. I've got to get out of here. So what I did is, after lunch, I made a time to go into the speaking room to speak to the guru. Now, he's sitting up on his big plinth and I'm sitting on the ground. First thing I said, mate, first thing I've got to say is you're the best guru I've ever met. I think you're fantastic. But it's not working for me. I got to go. And then he started doing the talk that I would do to one of you if you were thinking of leaving real estate. It's like, you know, come on, let's sit down and talk it through and stuff like that. So we talked for about 10 minutes and I agreed to stay on, and I went away and I woke up the next morning and thought, no, I can't do it. So now I had to plot my escape. I had 2 choices. I could either go back to the guru and say, you know what, mate, thank you, but this is not for me. Or I could run. I decided to take the easy option.
Can I ask, what were you angry about?
I was just frustrated. For a start, by this time the sun was out, the birds were going, and I'm thinking, mate, I don't get much time off in my life, and I'm sitting here wasting. I wasn't getting it because I didn't understand what was happening as much. Because to me, I was just getting angry, mate. Because you start whittling away the time, and you start rocking like and you start going doolally. So anyway, I decided that here was when I was going to escape. I was going to escape at lunchtime when everyone was walking back up to the hill. I was going to run over a big open field the size of a rugby field to get to my car, to get onto the road and to leave. It was in a valley surrounded by bush, native bush. Now, people were walking up and I thought, right, my time to go. Now, let me give you a tip. If you are going to go to one of these things, do not take red suitcases because they stand out. They're like beacons. So anyway, so I had 2 pillows, I had sleeping bag, and I had this big red suitcase. Now, just as I was about to leave, there was a fella with a ladder, looked like a groundsman, walking across the field. And I remember to this day thinking, I could take him out, no problems. And here's where it went wag. Now, instead of just walking across the field, confident, head held high, and just ready to handle any objections, I ran out and went into the bush. Commando style, carving walkways in native New Zealand bush that have probably never had anyone walk through them in their lives, using my suitcase as an excavator, And I'm doing this, and I hear this noise behind me, sort of like a, and I'm thinking, oh, it's the bloody guru. And so I start walking faster and faster and faster, and then I turn around. Before I knew it, I hit a tree. Now I'm cut open on my back, thinking this is it, goodbye world. No, this is not. You would think it was a bullshit story. Seriously, no. We're going to make this into a movie. I got out, finally got out to the car park, and there over the other side was the gardener. I just gave him a, mate, don't ask me any questions look. Got into my car and decided that I had two choices, either to go home or go up to my batch at Mangawai Beach, and I thought, fantastic, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and buy 6 steaks, 2 bottles of bourbon, you know, get the alcohol levels back up to normal again, you know, just all those things. And I went to call my wife, and unfortunately my phone was flat, so I thought, well, bugger it, she thinks I'm here, so I'm going to go up there, which I did. So I bought my steaks and sitting down having a great time, and just reliving what happened, which I thought was just absolutely just out of this world. Unbelievable, just wow. Anyway, to cut a long story short, unbeknownst to me, my wife at the time had come up and driven past the holiday house. Right. So I didn't know this. So anyway, I get home on the Friday, and she, where have you been? I've been, well, I've been on the course and I've done this and that. No, you haven't. You've been up at the batch, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, she left me.
She did.
She did. She did. So that was all over. I thought, whoa, this is a trip. See, things happen in your life for a reason. Sometimes you never know. Sometimes you guys might not know why you're here, what's made you come here, what's drawn you to real estate, but things happen for a reason. Things happen for a reason. So anyway, she left. So to cut a long story short, I was still in absolute shock. I'm just in disbelief, A, that I'd done the course, and B, that she's gone.
You didn't have to pay.
That's right. Well, I didn't.